Hi there. Today we will be talking about relationship marketing. One of the key ideas in relationship marketing is that customers are not just a single discrete transaction, but you want those customers for a lifetime. So we will be doing a deep dive into relationship marketing strategy, some of the key components of relationship marketing, and how you, as a student and a future marketer, will benefit from understanding the key components of relationship marketing strategy. So let's jump in. So I think before we get started with relationship marketing and relationship marketing strategy, the key idea is to understand relationships, right? We understand marketing. We've talked about that quite a bit, how it's concerned with exchanges and how we're concerned about providing value to our customers. But we haven't really talked about relationships. And relationship is as the two terms are put together, relationship marketing, we have to understand relationships. So a relationship we can think of, because we're talking about marketing, we can talk about exchanges. And we can think of a relational exchange versus a discrete transaction. So a relational exchange is going to be one that there's some type of previous agreements or engagements that individuals or entities have had. Oftentimes, a relational exchange is that there's a longer duration of that exchange, and it's an ongoing process. It's not just one that occurs once and the customer kind of forgets about it. So, relational exchanges happen quite a bit. One is kind of like with your hairdresser, right? You've had previous engagements with the person that you get your hair cut by. Oftentimes you grow to like that whoever does your hair quite a bit. The same might be said about like your dentist. You feel really strongly about having that one particular person who works on your teeth, or that one particular chiropractor, or one particular massage therapist. Relational exchanges are really important because you're going to go back to them on a regular basis, right? You expect to go to the chiropractor pretty often. You expect to go get your haircut on quite a regular basis. But with discrete transactions, you can tell the beginning, they're short duration, and they have a sharp ending. So these discrete exchanges happen also all the time. The discrete transactions might be in the form of, let's say, the place that you go buy your groceries. You can go buy groceries anywhere. Obviously, some people in Texas, they're like really big on HEB. Me, I really don't care where I buy my groceries. I go to the store based off of convenience for me and what I'm looking for at that particular time. So mine, I really don't have like a relational exchange with any particular customer or any particular company for my groceries. And discrete transactions can happen all the time. This could be like maybe you're purchasing a car. You may never go to that dealership ever again to buy your car, but that one time. And sometimes you may not even use the services they provide. Like if you buy a car from a dealership, you may go get your car serviced there, but you may also get your car serviced at some other place. So discrete transactions can happen all the time, and we're very familiar with those because not every relationship, not every exchange has to be a relational exchange. So the key idea with relationship marketing is that it's all the activities, all marketing activities that are directed towards establishing, developing, and maintaining these successful relational exchanges. So, establishing, obviously, there has to be a starting point for a relationship to happen, right? We're all familiar with like even friendships. We can go to the very fundamental basis of like friendships, or even like we first had to have like an interaction between us as professor and student. So we established that. We developed those relationships through our interactions and other things that occur. And then we also have to continue producing effort to maintain those relationships. And there's definitely lots of activities in marketing that help us maintain those relational exchanges. And some of these are relational exchanges and who we might have relational exchanges with. So all of these concern partnerships. We have supplier partnerships, lateral partnerships like with our competitors, nonprofit organization, governments. We may have internal partnerships. These are like with our employees, other functional departments, and we may have buyer partnerships. So this could be like our intermediate customer and then our ultimate customer. So we can think of like if this is maybe like a manufacturer firm, that they have an intermediate customer and then they have an ultimate customer. Like, for instance, we've talked about in previous lectures, like cereal manufacturers. They may have an intermediate customer of like the grocery store, and then they have an ultimate customer of those who are going to consume that cereal. And then we also may have other partnerships like cereal companies. They may have to get like the corn or other types of material that they need to package their cereal. They may need plastic, they may need cardboard, et cetera, et cetera. And then with the services, they may need people to come in and carry their product to their intermediate customer. So there's lots of different relational exchanges that could occur between different entities. So this gives us a very big picture perspective on different types of relational exchanges that could occur in marketing. So why is relationship marketing important? Why might a company really want to be focused on relationship marketing and building those relational exchanges? Well, there are some benefits for the firm. If you have a really strong relationship with your customers, those customers are really going to be a huge advocate for you as a company. So I always think of this like my favorite restaurant that I go to. Anybody who comes into town, I promote them. And while we don't necessarily have like a super intimate relationship between myself and the owner, it's a relational exchange because the server starts to get to know me. They know my order. They're familiar with me and kind of what I like. And so that relational type of exchange, because they're understanding me and I go on a frequent basis, I am more willing to spread that word of mouth if they're providing a quality service or product for me. This can come through referrals, especially customer referrals. It also induces greater customer loyalty, and obviously this is beneficial for the firm. We talked about that 80-20 rule, that 80% of a firm's profits or sales comes from 20% of its customers. So customer loyalty is a huge thing, and so relationship marketing helps with customer loyalty. It also improves performance, and that's through the sales effectiveness, profits, and sales performance. And then also it generates cooperation between the firm and customers. So when should partners enter into relational exchanges? There's a key time whenever a firm should enter into a relational exchange and a key time whenever a customer should. So for customers, they should enter into a relational exchange when they believe that the benefits of entering into an exchange exceeds the cost. So the amount of effort or involvement in that relational exchange is going to be worth it beyond any cost that a customer might incur. Whereas for a firm, they have to understand and enter in these relational exchanges whenever the exchange is going to contribute to the firm being more competitive. So not all relational exchanges will be beneficial to parties, right? We often hear that term win-win. It's not always the case that it's going to be a win-win situation for a firm. Like for example, I could think of like the place that I get my hair cut, they offer a membership. Well, one of the memberships that they offer is unlimited haircuts. And so I could, if I wanted to, theoretically, I could go get my hair cut every day. And after a certain period of time, I would essentially, the cost for me the benefits would way exceed the cost, right? Because let's say, for example, the haircut cost $50 each time I went. Well, the membership, let's say it costs $600. After I went 12 times, it's already paid for itself. So after that point, I'm just benefiting. So there are certain times whenever the customer is going to benefit more than the firm. And so we have to consider these trade-offs from a firm perspective and how these relational exchanges are going to benefit us and our competitive advantage. So with relationship marketing strategy, the point here is that it's crucial for each firm to manage their relationships with its partners. And it's not just one relationship and it's just not one relational exchange. It's all of these different exchanges and exchange partners that they have to worry about. So with this, they're emphasizing this ability to identify um, relationships that would really enhance their competitiveness, develop those relationships, and then nurture those relationships over time to enhance the competitive advantage of the firms. So typically in a face-to-face class, I would have a lot of interaction on this part because it's really important that we understand that we're going to the very basics of relationships. We don't have to really think about this in super complicated marketing terms. We can think about this in very basic terms. So two elements that are essential to any relationship is commitment. With commitment, we have a desire, an enduring desire, to maintain that relationship with a partner. We could think about this in if we're in a romantic relationship, commitment is really important, right? Without commitment, that relationship probably wouldn't happen anymore, right? It would cease to exist because the without commitment, if a relational partner breaks that commitment, it breaks the next key component, which is trust. So with trust, we have to have a confidence in our partner's reliability and integrity. And so trust and commitment are two key components. With trust, you may have heard of terms like credibility, honesty, trustworthiness. All of those are important. So with greater trust leads to greater commitment. If that trust is broken, there's no longer a commitment there. And so with greater trust, there is greater commitment. And this is established from several studies. All of these are references here if you wanted to look at that in the academic literature. And that's what I'm pulling this information from. So there are a few factors that can contribute to developing our commitment. We can have stronger commitment if we consider the relationship benefits. These are the benefits that might be received from being in the relational exchange. So if you have greater time savings, greater convenience, companionship, improved decision making, all of those things would lead to a stronger commitment. Also, similarity is pretty important. So this would be like a commonality in appearance, lifestyle, and status between partners. And this is kind of like at the fundamental basis of like, think about like a salesperson and their prospect. Whenever they're talking about them, if there's some similarity there, it really helps generate a stronger commitment. And this could also be in the form of their cultures, their values, and different goals that they may have. Some common terms that we might use here, like shared values or if someone's compatible. And all of these things should resonate very well if you've ever been in a romantic relationship, because similarity is kind of important. If you share the same values, if you're pretty compatible, those are things that are really important in a relationship that you plan to have over a long-term basis. You have to be compatible. You have to have some fundamental basis of shared values, and you have to be receiving some type of benefit, right? If either party isn't really happy in that relationship because of the benefits they're not receiving, it's not really going to work out. So that generates stronger commitment. Now, what generates stronger trust? Well, one is communication. Communication is key. We've heard that before. This comes in the amount, frequency, and quality. We also have to consider our relationship investment, and this comes through the amount of time, effort, spending, resources that are focused on building a stronger relationship. And so this may come in the form of support. We could have this in the form of gifts, also in loyalty programs. So with loyalty programs, oftentimes there's some type of reciprocation involved there where in a loyalty program, let's take like Starbucks, for example, the more stars that you get based off of your purchases, they'll give you a free drink, right? This also happens like with airlines, they give you airline miles the more that you fly with them. So there's a relationship investment on your part and on their part by providing those benefits through the loyalty program. It also occurs through interaction frequency, and interaction frequency are those number of interactions with your partner. So there are a few things that would be detrimental to a relationship, and one of those is conflict. So if you have a lot of conflict between these relationship partners, the disagreement, it's not going to work out. And the negative impact of conflict, so listen to this, the negative impact of conflict is much larger. It's so much larger in magnitude than any of the positive effects of any other relationship marketing factors combined. So if you have conflict, all of those things that I just mentioned in the previous slides, how you can build stronger trust, how you can build stronger commitment, those won't matter if you have conflict. So the point I'm making is don't have conflict. And the additional point I want to make is that any of the proactive behaviors by you as a firm or as a sales agent or anybody who's trying to establish those relational exchanges, if you have conflict between you and your customer, it's all going to be wasted. All the efforts that you put into building that relationship, developing that relationship, all of that will be for nothing if you have conflict. So with this, I just want to show you some different factors involved in the success of relationship marketing. We have resources that can be involved. We have different competencies, so alliance competence, our marketing related capabilities. We also have any type of internal marketing efforts. Technology plays a role in relationship marketing success. We also have the market offering factors, so what aspects of our product, if it has good quality, if it's innovative, all of those things. But really the key here is without these relational factors, the trust, commitment, cooperation, all of these things, a lot of these things would not matter. It's really key here that we focus on the relational factors because those are things that we can control, and we can also control the market offering factors, of course, but developing those relationship marketing strategy, we have to be very concerned about these relational factors that I just went over. So to end this presentation, we have to think of when is relationship marketing most effective. Well, there are a few key areas where relationship marketing may be more beneficial than others. One of those is when relationships are more critical to customers, and this may be for the relationship is more critical in a service offering versus a product offering. So I had mentioned like the hairdresser, a relationship is more critical whenever you're working with somebody who's going to be working on your hair, your doctor, dentist, chiropractor, all of these different service providers. It's really important to have a great relationship. Like my AC person who goes and repairs my air conditioning units, I have a really good relationship with them, and it's really important that they maintain that with me, because the better relationship I have with them and they have with me, the better benefits we're each going to provide each other. It also is dependent on channel versus direct exchanges. So what I mean here is a relationship is more critical for the distributor-retailer relationship as compared to like a customer going to McDonald's. That relationship probably, that would be more classified as a discrete transaction. So relational exchange really isn't that key there. Relationship marketing is more important and more effective in business-to-business marketing versus business-to-consumer marketing. Relationship marketing is really important on the B2B side, but obviously on the B2C side, we see that in service offerings more so than the product offerings. And then finally, relationship marketing is more effective when the relationship target is an individual person. So if you're establishing that relational exchange with an individual rather than you're trying to establish this relationship with an entire firm. And what I mean here is that even in B2B exchanges that happen, it's usually two individuals working together to solidify that salesperson going to a prospect, but that prospect represents some individual in the company that can make decisions. And so those relationships are really key between individuals. It may not necessarily be between company and company, like such a huge, massive relationship between them, but it really has to do with the relationship between individuals. And so with that, I hope that you gain some insight about relationship marketing strategy. If you have any questions on relationship marketing, feel free to email me at kt.manus@ttu.edu. Thanks. Bye-bye.